Today's Bitcoin analysis is going to use a daily EMA fill of the 21 and 55 EMA, which has a chance of flipping green. We will zoom in on price down here as it is dancing around the master origin line, the most important line in all of Bitcoin history. And we'll also take a look at the Tether dominance chart and why it's so special and crucial, this little yellow area mark that I have off here, which happens to align with Bitcoin tinkering with its master origin line. And then we're going to mash them all together and we're going to know what to look for on the charts. Today is not going to be about making specific guesses. Rather, today is I'm going to show you levels. This is when upside becomes probable, as in 50+% chance, and this is when downside becomes probable, as in 50+% chance. Let's go find those levels. Let's get it. Let's first take a look at the Tether dominance chart. And if you wanted to, you can take a snapshot out of this so you can follow along. And if you like this type of thing, this analysis that you won't see very many other places or anywhere else on all of crypto YouTube, particularly how my trading channels are set up, go ahead and hit the like button right now for me. My like to views ratio has really been sucking lately. So don't make me beg, damn it, hit the like button if you like this sort of thing. So here's what we're focusing on. I'm going to go even down to a lower chart. I'm on the daily right now. Let's even go down to the hour. What we're really focusing on is this. In general terms, when Tether dominance goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Therefore, if this line, if you zoom in, if not necessarily if this goes below it, but if it's used as resistance, so let's zoom way in there. If it's used as resistance, that means Bitcoin is likely getting ready to coil up and make a move up. So Bitcoin price would move up as this is prepared to move down and go. I'm going to switch timeframes here so we can see more of it, and then test somewhere lower, perhaps even as low as the bottom of its trading channel. That is going to be key. Take this moment to give me a quick thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check out the Discord community within the description section, follow me on Twitter at @cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward, and if online communities are not your thing, but you want exclusive content above and beyond what I offer on YouTube, click the join button right below this video. Another video will pop up describing your options to you. And that yellow line is pretty much the most important part of that channel, and it's tinkering with it. And now we're going to look at Bitcoin tinkering with it's the actual price, not Tether dominance, Bitcoin price tinkering with the most important line in all of Bitcoin. Let's go look at how it's also toying around, and therefore we're going to mix these together. It's going to be cool. Let's go. I'm on the 1 hour chart, and most of you who follow my channel know that Bitcoin, when it approaches this master origin line throughout time, even in 2015, and I think August 2015, in January 2019, and around coronavirus time, it acts the same way across these same parallel lines, even way back in time. And right now, something very important is happening with price finally using the bottom of this channel as what appears to be a fairly proven support. It's now making a nice higher low structure, getting above the master origin line, and it seems to be using it as support, but it's tinkering. It's kind of indecisive at this time. Let's go down to even the 5-minute candles. The 5-minute candles technically are using it mostly as support. And if you zoom in and say, damn, this isn't support, correct. However, when it came back up, it got above it essentially on its first try. Therefore, I don't count that. That's why I have, a lot of people say invalidation or validation, my probability flip. Okay. I just like to say, this is when your probability flips to the other side. You need to see the rejection. Sometimes though, the disadvantage to that sort of analysis, which I do rely heavily on because it happens more times than not, is that sometimes when price starts just really tanking, it never comes up and uses it as resistance. It'll just fall right through. However, that is less common. Therefore, I try to focus on specifically flipping my probabilities when you have lower time frames using a specific line as resistance after losing it or falling below it. Therefore, this area here, even though price fell below the master origin line, again, this line goes back 12 years, most important straight line in all of Bitcoin price history. It did fall below, but it got back above on its first try, support, fell back below, got above on its second try, support. It's tinkering around. I really don't know which way it's going to go. However, mixing this, so really focusing in on this master origin line, which I have explained in a couple of videos on how to set that up, and I still haven't made that video for my Discord community. I owe them that video on specifically exactly where to place this line throughout 12 years of price history. But you need to really focus in on this line as you focus in on the Tether dominance, because both of them, it's going to add the extra layer of confirmation cake, an extra layer of cake, right? Or icing of confirmation if they both do the same thing together. You very likely won't see disagreement. For example, Tether dominance go up as Bitcoin makes a move up. That would be concerning, and that would probably be a good short signal if Tether dominance made a strong move up while Bitcoin also moved up, but you're likely not going to see them move together because they usually move in opposite ways. Here's the third thing I wanted to show you. Got to stay for this part. This is going to be really neat here, and it makes me more bullish than anything. However, this is only one element, one piece of the puzzle, one layer of the cake, right? So just because what is happening right now is something that seems to be bullish, you have to represent it as not your full analysis, but one element of it. A lot of things could happen, right? But this one element is a bit more, it's definitely more hopeful. I will tell you that right now. This is the daily EMA fill. When the 21 EMA, which is yellow, is below I think it's the 55. Yes. When it's below the 55, the fill turns red. And that means you're in a general downtrend until it flips green. The way that price undid this here is that doesn't happen unless I think most people by now know this Wyckoff experience was essentially programmed, and it was a coordinated event. That was a very rare way to get up. However, a very common way to get above and beyond this, and I think this also happened on the origin line. Check that out. Same thing. See, way back here in 2019. When Bitcoin was at about 6K here, you can see how it worked its way around the origin line, used the bottom as a support, just like now. Okay, got on top, used the origin line as support, took a dip, came back above, lived inside of the trading channel, got above it, used it as support, and then it was able to flip green. This is the common way to finally flip this green. And when it does flip green and it's been used as support, those two things together, I can't say that, I can't stress that enough. Just because price goes way up and this flips green, that's not necessarily the best thing. Obviously, it helps the probabilities that things will keep going up and be good long term, but where your probabilities of let's say weekly candles in general, the next 10, maybe 7 will be green. When that type of probability happens on using the CMA fill is when it's both used as support and then it flips green. In this case, it did use it as support. Can you see that? Zoom in here. It used it as support right there, and then it flipped green. Therefore, the probabilities of upside was very, very, very high. It did actually make a pretty nice move up before the coronavirus spill. So from, let's see, that middle point to here, 30% Bitcoin move. That's pretty fantastic. And, it lasted how many days? From the time it turned green until the first lower high, that 42 days of essentially trading to the upside. So it gave a pretty good signal, and we're about to give that same type of signal on the same master origin line, and it seems to be behaving fairly similarly. So I personally, although I'm ultra short. Okay, let me. This is going to be confusing no matter how well I say it. Okay, especially if you don't trade very much, therefore time frames aren't something that you focus on much. But I'm ultra short-term time frame, a little bearish. I think Bitcoin wants to dip down and touch that channel. So look back at that channel. I think it wants to come down and dip, but that's not necessarily bearish, right? But on 5-minute candles and stuff, okay, that's ultra short-term time frame, bearish. However, but just general short-term time frame, if I wanted to make a trade that lasted, the whole week, but I'm looking at the 4-hour candles, 2-hour candles, I'm moderately bullish still. So short-term time frame, I'm still moderately bullish. I think after this little dip, which is the micro time frame, I'm a little bearish. Short-term time frame, I'm still bullish. Mid-term time frame, as I've gone over a million times, I am still very bearish midterm, and I still think capitulation could happen between April to July. Capitulation as in Bitcoin gets close somewhere around 20K, something to that effect. Obviously not all in 1 hour or 1 day, but makes its journey down there and has to swoop out the rest of 2022. So, I will go ahead and at the end of the video, go ahead and link you to that exact video to watch on why I won't change my mind until that happens. And let's dive back into this and look at one more important thing. Therefore, you have 2 important things happening here. To just take off price. When this flips green and it's used as support, it's getting ready to be flipping green. If Bitcoin can come down a little bit, just down to 41 something, use that support and get back above the origin line, it's used as that, and then this flips green, I would have to become short-term or mid-term time frame neutral. I wouldn't flip full bullish yet mid-term time frame, but I would definitely be very bullish short-term time frame. And it's getting ready to happen all at this area. This is a very, very important juncture, adding these two together. Plus, remember when we were looking at the trading channels of the Tether dominance, that is also on the verge of, it's on one of its most important lines there, and it's on the verge of doing something different as well, and it's all going to happen together. All these important things are just converged right now. Bitcoin really wants to go up, but we're going to have to watch it. Therefore, the last thing I'm going to show you here is this is when probabilities get very high for the upside, and this is when probabilities flip to the downside. Let's get it so we can make sure we define these levels. If we want to use there are lots of tools to do this. However, since I'm using these tools today, what I'll do is this. I will say, as long as Bitcoin does not close a daily candle below the daily 21 EMA, which is right now the bottom one, and you don't need to have the EMA fill on it. You can just go like this and just throw on the daily 21 EMA like that. And as long as you don't have a daily closure below that line, I would still be midterm, not micro time frame, but I would be short-term time frame bullish still, expecting a move perhaps higher in the 40s, maybe as high as 50 potentially. And until that happens, even if Bitcoin wicks below this and closes the day above that daily 21, I still think there is a probability that Bitcoin will continue its move up. This is the defining moment, but a daily closure below it, I think that is when your probabilities flip very specifically in that instant, and therefore trading to the downside would likely give you a better edge. And we're being specific. Now going to the upside though, essentially already done the upside because I think upside is more likely at this time, but to add extra confirmation on when this could really heat up is, even though I think what might happen, if I could tell you, I think Bitcoin's going to get boring for a while, and I kind of think it's going to dance. I think Bitcoin's going to dance for a while before it does anything. However, if you want to go like, hey, this is getting really, really bullish, okay, you would want to make sure you use that EMA fill and look for that to flip green plus a daily closure above this area here. A daily closure somewhere around 44.8. Let's just call it 44.8. If a daily candle plus this flips green, okay, daily candle above 44.8 plus this flips green, because it's already been used as support. Look, came above, use as support. All it needs to do is flip green now. And then a daily closure. That would be your probability of where your probabilities to farther upside get even stronger, faster, way stronger. And you notice here, I haven't used the weekly 10 in my analysis, and I think that's among the most important things in all of Bitcoin price history. However, we used a little bit different tools today. Right now, if you want to take a look, Bitcoin is dancing on. It is, I think, well above it. Let me throw this off, go down to the 15-minute chart, and let's put on that weekly 10 and see it's still above it. It's still very, very safe. And going down to check that EMA fill would also give another nice retest of this weekly 10. And it's all in line. You see how all of this is in concert? The tether dominance, the origin line, the EMA fill on that daily potentially being flipped green, plus the weekly 10 being used as support. And so these are all the reasons why I would be super micro time frame, a little bit bearish, just looking for a little dip down, but I'm still short term time frame, as in the rest of the next 10 days. I think we should have more upside still, but now you know the exact level on when those probabilities flip. The daily 21, keep that on your chart. A daily closure, it has to close. Wick below, doesn't matter. Closure, that's when you flip your probabilities. Then I'm going to be short-term time frame bearish and midterm time frame bearish, because I'm still midterm time frame bearish. So here's that video I was promising you. Go ahead and watch that on why it's smart to stay midterm time frame bearish. And if you want an awesome roadmap for what most altcoins are going to be doing near protocol, even if you don't care about it, you need to study this chart, because it's probably what your favorite coins are getting ready to do. Very important to watch that video. We'll see you next time. You just got Timified Worldwide. Live long and prosper.